Is that better? I'm not sure why this is not working. Is that better? There we go. Now I can hear myself. Okay, now that you guys can hear me. All right. Did you guys hear anything in there? Anything that I was talking about with the VIX? You guys can comment for me. I was listening if you could hear the backdrop. I was making sure you guys could hear me. Okay, here we go. Okay, well, we'll just catch up here and we'll go back. I was saying with the VIX, if you guys missed it, we'll go over these levels again here. We'll go back to the VIX for everybody. So if we'll start this again here. VIX looking to bounce here. These 25 touches. See how it's double touch and rejection. It's that tells me that it's testing itself. It's still getting rejected, but at the same time, it's also telling you, it's kind of giving you the little yellow light that caution. Yeah, we popped up and then we rallied, and we popped up and we rallied off of it. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got another test to 25. I really would not be surprised if we got a test to 27 right here. That's 25. Hold on a second. There we go. Up here. 26.8, 27, close enough. I wouldn't be surprised if we tested this area this week, especially if we get a drawdown where our SPX levels, don't hold. I put in the room earlier today, so everybody in our room, that's members could see it. 36, it's fair value right now of 36.75. Last time I checked. We'll try this again. All right. Making sure you guys can still hear me. Just make sure you guys can hear me. So must be good because everybody's saying okay. So right now, futures are 36.72. Again, they're hanging around. Again, this may just hang out all night. That's usually not how futures go. This is either going to have to go and break through. I mean, it was kind of a fake break already. I actually just saw this. I'm glad I looked at it. Kind of a fake break. 36.79. Not even a fake break, really. I mean, it's right there. It didn't even get above. So we'll see what 36.80 does overnight when we're all sleeping. We'll see how that works moving forward. But pretty much what I said was 36.80 is a weak supply zone. So any type of volume can break this, and we can get back up to 3,700, 3,710 pretty easy going into tomorrow. And by the way, the vaccine, it only gave me 20 points. We have vaccine shipping, and it gives futures 20 points. How about that? So fair value is about 36.72 right now, 36.72 and a half maybe. Fair value right now. So if it opens that and the volume pushes through 36.80 and holds, we probably rally to 3,700, 3,710 tomorrow. Like, we'll shoot up. Good vaccine news. Everybody's happy. Everybody's good. Tech's probably pretty good. Amazon's a trade. Everybody's pretty happy. We either hang out at 37.10 or we come back maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday and test 36.80 again, and then maybe we bounce and we go higher. That could happen. But with the VIX kind of giving up, getting up like it did, We also have FOMC. We have quad witching this week. There's a lot of curveballs that are being thrown. So for me, I'm sitting here saying, with all these curveballs being thrown, you got to kind of take it into your pocket and say, okay, these are the things I know that are happening. So if 3680 breaks to the downside, we might get a little help here from 3650 where we were hanging around 3640. I'm sorry, between 3640, 30. This gap here is kind of a good area to see if it holds. If it doesn't hold here, which I don't think it would, I think we visit 3620. I think we bounce from here personally, but if the VIX is high and bears are out and they're growling, maybe by Friday, maybe by Thursday, we're down 35. We'll call this gap right here is a good one. This gap right here, we'll call that, 3583, 3582. We could trade all the way down into that. Do I think we go below it? I don't, but that'd be really weird to be in this raging bull market and then all of a sudden with, you have a vaccine out. You can call it sell the news, which is fine, but there's really no reason for this gap to, for us to go below this and get down here to 3550. If it did, 3550 is the last. I mean, we're crashing at that point. 3550 is going down. I don't think that happens. I think that's unrealistic, especially just this week. So just my thoughts on the VIX there, or SPX. 3680 is a level. It's a weak supply zone. 3650s, it can get, eaten through like butter. 3620 is actually weak. It's a weak area for buyers. I would probably look more, 3600, 3583 as a deeper pullback. But we'll see what happens. It never works out exactly how we plan. So let's move down. Let's roll through my kind of watch list for this week so far. I'll probably, you guys know me. I add them like left and right because there's so many stocks and I can only have so much time going on there. So Amazon, it's ready to go. They've been selling it to buy Tesla. You think about it, you got to think logically through this stuff. It makes sense, doesn't it? You have 36, you have to buy Tesla if you're a huge, if you're an $800 billion fund, and you don't have all this moving capital constantly, you're going to have to buy Tesla in some way, shape, or manner. You have to sell something to buy it. Makes sense. Why wouldn't I just sell a $3,000 stock? I can buy 4 or 5, whatever, whenever you bought it. I can buy 4 to 5 shares for every Amazon stock. So you have we'll call it a 4-to-1 ratio. Makes sense to sell Amazon if you hold a million shares. I'm making things up, but if you hold a million shares, well, I'm going to sell, 20% of them. That's going to get you a lot of Tesla. So that's where it's been. And I think it may take one more week here. Maybe once Tesla's in the index, I think this thing goes, and I think it goes hard, and I think we're going to make a lot of money on it. And I think the VIX calms down at that point. And if for some reason Amazon breaks, we'll call it here. Let me full screen for you guys. If it breaks this 8-day, let me take my circle away. Go even tighter for everybody so you guys can see it. But you see how like the 8-day, the 21-day, the VWAPs, all that stuff. By the way, I love anchored VWAPs. I think they're great in the sense that it adds to the volume profile. Volume is everything. If you don't have buyers and you don't have sellers, you don't have anything. So it's a nice little touch to where we can find some levels on, through our volume profile. Huge volume shelf right here. This is going to be a tough nut to crack. Getting over 3188. That's going to be a tough one to crack. 3163, 3188. I think it's going to be a lot of chop in there. So you could trade this thing if it does reclaim. We'll call 31. We'll call it 3150. Maybe even actually 31. We'll call it 3136 the 8-day. If it reclaims the 8-day, I think you have a good shot. You can play. I mean, options are going to be tough because they're super expensive. And then on the weekly, with the VIX popping, it might just be something where you're scalping this. I don't know that we're going to play it this week. We might just wait one more week to let it play out. But if I see the numbers and the premiums and what the market makers are doing within the area tomorrow and seeing whether they're really pushing it, we might jump in, see what we have going on. Alphabetical order, of course. Did it go alphabetical? No. Okay. Let me get this. Oh, it just skipped AMD. That's why. All right. Cool. So AMD, I tell the room all the time, and the guys that are in the room that are here right now, appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. You're probably tired of me talking so much, but AMD is super spiky, especially on the daily here. I mean, it's super spiky. Now, point of interest. This thing is like, I think we're currently in the 97 and 100s for Friday. We bought them a few weeks ago. There's so much bullish call flow in AMD. It was like, why are we not taking a shot at it? And with the market going down, of course, AMD failed. And then it's really weird. It's so spiky. And, the whole time, here's the crazy thing about AMD. Every single day, if we go to Cheddar Flow, which let's just go to Cheddar Flow here. Oh boy, you can see my love Cheddar Flow, like the greatest thing ever. Oh, you guys know my email now. Uh-oh. You guys can spam me, I guess. I mean, look at this bullish call. Look at this. Look at this. Just repeated. This was on Friday. This was just Friday. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Now let's go here. And let's just go last week by itself, right? I mean, look at this thing. Look, you got a couple puts in there, that's fine, but it's a lot more green. It's 89 to 11. And it's pretty simple. I mean, look at this. This is last week, and it's just shades of green. Just green, green, green. I mean, it is just, and it's not all everything. I mean, it's not everything is that week. There's a lot of stuff. Like, people are putting a lot of money in this. So if we go to our filters here, let's see if we have any million and above. No. Okay, nobody wanted a million above. I like knowing how much money people spend it. Cool. Now let's go to above ask. No, okay, just checking it. Interesting. On the 7th, somebody bought December 18th, 102 calls. This is probably the same person. They probably did this together. No, block sweep. Yep, probably not. So somebody is buying the 102 calls for this week, and they put a lot of money into this. They put a lot of money into it, and that tells you something. Now, you also say that you have these long, puts. This doesn't mean that he bought the 105 puts. He could have sold. He could have sold the 105s. I don't know why he would, but he might have. He might have. I don't know why he would. But to me, that sells. Okay, that's great. Let's get off on usual orders here. Sorry, I get so enamored with what people spend. Sometimes it's like super fun. So now we have over 200K of premium. And you start seeing, look, somebody has 95 calls they bought for not this week, but next week expiring. You got June 18th, 140 calls. That is, wow. That is a lot. This was earlier in the week. This was later in the week. So earlier in the week before that flush out, there was a lot in 12, 18, 102s. So there's a lot of people that, I think we saw that one earlier, but there's a lot of people that think this thing is going. Now, if we cut it down a little bit less, so let's just take, I like using bigger numbers because if you have more money and you're putting more money on the line, it's a little different. So let's see. So a lot of people for this week, they bought, again, this is before the flush. So no, I'm sorry, that's Friday. I mean, people bought the 92 calls for Friday, bought the 104 calls for Friday. They bought the 102 calls. This was earlier in the week, though. These people are probably going to lose money. We might lose money on the hundreds. It happens. We expect zero, so we're not worried. But again, you just see the bullish call flow on this. 95-5 on this. That's why I still like AMD this week. It's riding the 8 days, just kind of hanging out right on the 8 day. If it, some would argue that you chartists out there would argue this is a bear flag, sure. But my experience with AMD is it flags and then it fails and then it'll pop right back up on you. So AMD on the lookout. Not going to play it heavy. If I see something happen, we'll go for it. Amazon we already went through. I still like Digital Turbine. If you guys in the room, we didn't take this trade, but we could have if we wanted to. Let me update my all right, let me delete that. I had a cool whole list and everything, and I totally forgot to. There we go. So you guys know where I'm at. I still like Digital Turbine. If you guys remember, I talked about on Sunday, this could be a trade. You get through, you maybe get to 45. Yeah, I mean, if you would have done it here, you had a nice little trade, maybe 50, 60%, maybe 40. We didn't take it. It just wasn't enough to where I was jumping up and down for it. Still on the lookout, break above this 45, and probably a good way to get in. All right, Fastly, very interesting, very interesting. Made some good money on the 95 calls. I made some good money on the 90 calls, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, they're all running together. We had the hundreds. We had them in green. Some people took the trade. Some people didn't. I was half and half personally. I was kind of like, we got to manage the trade, and I was kind of focused on the VIX and what was happening. But partial gap fill starting. I think this thing works its way higher, even if it's bad tape. Market's really going to have to be bad for it to get back down here. I just think this gap is going to be filled. I think it's ready to be filled, and I just think that it may need a day to catch up to the 8 day. Let the 8 day come up and catch it and go, sure. But we'll see on Fastly. Big move, though. If they get, by the way, on Fastly, if they do get bought out, there's rumor of them getting bought out. If that happens, that gap fill happens within 24 hours. MasterCard. It's do or die for the credit cards. I actually think the credit cards are a great short. They'll go down. With MasterCard and Visa, they're slow movers. They grind up when you're on the call side. But on the sell side, I mean, you look at this. Well, bam. If you even caught it, if it broke here and you're like, oh, I'm going to short it here at 336, 3 days later it's at 327, which is way faster than, if you broke it here and I'm just saying, you bought it. I'm looking for a break here. There you go. Reversal, right? 324. I guess 343. I think that was the gap up on the more vaccine news. So I guess I can't take that. But most of the time, in my experience, it's easier. Like this is a reversal up here. 348, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 days later, you're down 20-some points. So look for this. If the gap doesn't hold, that's the short. We'll probably do the 315 puts. Just be in and out with it. Might get 40, 50%. We're taking the trade this week. That's a theme that I'm going to keep saying over and over. Might be 30, might be 100%, might be 80. It does not matter. I don't care if it runs on us. We're protecting our downside and we're protecting our profits. So MasterCard on the list to short. I saw some people on FinTwit talking about longing it, and I thought they were crazy. Who knows? Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm the dumb one. We'll see. Marvel, they are being added to the S&P. I'm not S&P. I'm sorry, to the Nasdaq 100. Definitely a good play if it gets through this volume shelf here, 43.59. One thing's concerning is you have declining selling volume, so might be compression. You might be able. It's riding this 50-day on the daily. This actually might be a really good buy if it can clear. We'll call it 43.55. I'm sorry. We'll call it 43.75, 43. Yeah, 43.55, 43.75, somewhere in that. This 43.70, especially, then it's a runner. Definitely on watch. Probably would play Peloton over this. I do like it though. I would probably buy some shares, maybe just buy some shares and let it ride back to 47. But we'll see. I'd rather play Peloton with the group of that went into Nasdaq 100. Match, another one going in. Look at this chart. I think the reason I've never really played Match, which I don't know why I haven't, but I was looking at the spreads, and the spreads are awful, absolutely awful on options. You're just better off, buying at 106 and you'll some shares and just holding it for a couple months and letting it run. I think any touch, it's riding this trend. Any touch of the 8-day, I think, is a buy until it proves otherwise. We might even play a little bit of this. We'll see how it goes overnight. We'll see how it opens up, but we might play a little match group. Neo, everybody's favorite. Offered a secondary, came off of the secondary action. Kind of, this is actually a really good buy zone here. A lot of people in the room bought this 38. It just didn't. The thing about Neo that bothers me, it'll move a dollar, and the premium doesn't move but 10 cents. You make 10 cents on a dollar move. It doesn't make sense to me to be able to do that. Also, it's like when it's choppy, like this parabolic move, that's great to be in. You buy some leaps and you just sit there and you say thank you. If you were down here and you're like, oh man, I love Neo. We were down. I think Cap and I were down here. We bought like the 32s, 33s for January, I think it was. Might have been December back here. And, I think I sold mine at this peak rate. No, I think I did at 42. Yeah, it was right here. I was just kind of like, well, volume's at the bottom. It was kind of drying up. I didn't think it was going to, bust up, come back, and then retest and bust up again. But interesting. I don't think it's a play this week. I think it needs time. Anytime you offer a secondary, it's just kind of like you got to let it sit. You got to let it sit. And you'll see that in Tesla too. I hate to say it, but yeah. Now we played this, we made a nice little chunk of change, probably sold it a little too early. I saw what the market was doing. I just wanted to get out. I think we sold it. We bought it at 535, sold it at 540, did its job, 541, did its job. I think it made 40, 50%, did its job. We went home. Everybody was happy. If it kind of chills out in this box or it keeps riding the 8-day and doesn't break, it's probably worth another, scalp up to 542. I don't think it breaks all-time highs this week. I think it does in the next, 3 weeks, but we'll definitely keep now on the list. Really good volume too in options. Really good volume. NVIDIA. So everybody, even it's on my do not trade list for a reason. It came out. It has really good earnings every time. Doesn't give guidance, and it just sells off. When a stock does that, you just kind of like leave it alone and let it sit and let it meander and let it get tight. I don't think this week is the week for NVIDIA. I think it's a New Year's play. You're seeing the volume here. It's just chop. This is just chop volume. This is all just chop. Maybe this gap be filled in 10 years. But for me, I just don't. NVIDIA's just not a play right now. It's got to prove itself. It's got to get through. You got to think. This is just a channel. This is just, it's literally 510 to 550. It's running. And if you can play this perfectly, hats off. There's a lot better things you can play. It's really got to get through, man. Maybe this area here, 560, maybe maybe even 570, just to be playable. I mean, you could maybe use it because it's on this volume shelf. So maybe if you play it for the volume shelf, maybe this is a trade here, 538, 540. But we tried that before and gotten smoked. So I might need a little more conviction out of a new video. I'm sorry. Octa, huge move. This is just monster. Going into the NASDAQ 100, spreads suck. Might just be a share play where you can, buy, 1,000 shares, 500, 120, whatever you want to buy, and just, kind of let it run, see if it gets back to 259 on the news. If it gets through 259 and starts going, yeah, that's a play. That's a big boy play. We'll see. Palantir, everybody's favorite. Some of you guys would call this a W bottom or whatever no, I guess it's not a W bottom, it's a V bottom, whatever. I'm not a chartist. But what looks good to me is I like the volume. I don't like the reaction to the volume though. Still riding the 8-day, so it's somewhat constructive. Still on that highest high VWAP, which is constructive. As long as it doesn't fall below 26.13, you're good. The moment it does, like the moment this breaks, it's a short. I would short the hell out of this. Probably take it down to 20, maybe even 20. Yeah, I'd probably ride the. Yeah, maybe 21 days something. We'd see. I would short the hell out of it though. I'd have to see what the actual premiums are and what the market is saying that they think it's going to go down to. But that wouldn't be bad. Maybe short it to 20, 21. Definitely to 20. Definitely to 24. Definitely to 23. 23 is probably if it breaks here, gets under 26, we'll call it 26 and stays short by the 23 puts and live life and enjoy your profits. That'll be on for us. Peloton. This might be the play this week. I hate to say it to everybody, but I think Zoom and Peloton are great plays. They have been suppressed. They got their sell off. They got their vaccine sell off. Everybody's, Peloton's, and Zoom they're going down. They're never going to go back up, but yet their earnings are through the roof. There's been more demand for their products, and this looks really good. And they even tried to bring it down. They brought it down twice. Couldn't do it. 50-day, huge support. So now it's above the 8-day. If it holds 114, I think this thing goes back to at least 130. Maybe not this week. Might have, I would probably play. I have to look at the spread. Let's see what's going on. I'd like to. It's one thing I did not do, and you guys are going to see some research that I do on Cheddar Flow from last week. So there's on our filters anyway. Let's just clear all the filters and see. Interesting. So Peloton got added to NASDAQ 100. Interesting. Look at that. More bearish than bullish, but it's kind of 50-50. Let's see the premium sales here. Interesting. Well, it's the first one that pops up, huh? Showing a month. They're buying a month for $8 a pop. About 800K worth. Opening order too. This was on. They knew. These people knew too. You don't put this much money in Peloton without thinking you know something. April, March. They're buying a lot of time. They're buying it deep in the money too. So they're saying that they don't know what it's going to go to, but they're going to pay this premium to get into a deeper in the money because you're looking at Peloton's 117. So they're buying $17 worth of value. That's actually pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So you got to think that by expiration, Peloton needs to be. I mean, if no one ever takes the expiration because you can just buy the shares for this amount of money that they're putting out there. Interesting. Okay. Okay. People buying 100-call leaps. You also have some puts here. This is from later in the week here. I'm always looking at later in the week just because it's closer. There's a lot of, time passes and all that. Interesting. So they think they're going to get the 115 puts, which is, closed at 117. What was it on 12/11 at 133? Let's see. 12/11 at 133. We'll say 130. So it's right where it was now. Interesting. So, so when you look at this, if anybody's watching this, when you look at this, I'm giving you free info here. I'm giving it to the world. So you look at these 115s; they're slightly out of the money, but they're buying so much time, so they're expecting this to pop down. They're probably going to go off the IV and probably sell it for 30-40%, or they think this thing's really going to go down, which that doesn't suggest that. That just suggests they're trying to get an IV burst to go down. Huh. So we'll watch it. We'll watch Peloton. It'll be interesting with them being added. I think this is a buy. I think it's long Peloton all the way. Get back to the daily here. So it still has the gap fill above the 122. That's what I'm saying. I mean, bullish news. If market is fine, if market's just hanging around 36.80 or it's above, this is an easy long. You can do the 120. I would probably do the 120s first thing and then sell it probably about if it gets to 126 by the end of the week. But I would probably do the 120s, let it gap fill, sell at the top of the gap 122. Should be a nice, 60, 70%. C Limited, my favorite stock of all time. Not all time, but I love it. They offered a secondary. Let it die. Let it get down. Secondary offerings, it's smart for them. They're raising cash, but it does push the stock price down. I think it was an at the money offering as well. Let it die. Let it go. It'll fall somewhere. Heck, if it gets back to the 50-day, that's going to be such an IRA ad. You don't even know. I don't think it gets there, but if the market's bad, I could definitely see this get to 183. I'll tell you what, if it ever gets to 175, good Lord, your boy's going to be buying a lot. What we got here? Shop. Everybody's it's tough time on Shop. If you get 40% on Shop, you're happy and you move on. Shop's not playable for me this week. It's in this range. It needs to break. I mean, honestly, it needs to break 1109 for me. I need it above 1109. Maybe if you can get cute, you can play it to 1089, but not worth the premium, not worth the time. Snap. What a play. Man, you plan the best you can in the way the premiums were looking. We had bought here. I think it was right around here-ish. We bought some leaps. We bought the December 18th 45 calls. Got them for $1. Market maker totally messed up. I caught him. I was actually watching Snap just because I thought the volume was really good. In this, I think it was a 10-minute chart. I was watching it. It just popped up on my volume scanner. Let's see if we can find it here. 10 minutes. Where's that? 44. Yeah, it was like right here. Yeah, it was somewhere right here. Might have been even here, and then it popped down and popped back up. But we bought. It might have been on one of these three. I can't remember exactly. It was 3 weeks ago. But market maker messed up. He literally, as we bought it, he actually hung around at $1 for the 45s. It was like I think we bought it like 44.30, and it was $1. $1. I couldn't believe it. So we loaded up. I alerted it. thing ran, and we sold ours right around 51. I think they were 200%. And then as we sold everything, as the market was kind of extended, it just rockets back up to 53. So, it's never a perfect sell, but 200% is 200%. You can't be upset. It's a little hot, little extended. We'll see what happens with it. I'm not too much on Snap right now after our big win. Snowflake. Sorry guys, I'm talking for a long time. So Snowflake, huge volume down. I mean, this might turn into Tesla, and not in terms of how of everything, but Buffett owns a bunch. Another bank does. I can't remember the bank right now. They bought like a 10% stake in it. So 350's been a good hold for it. 8 days starting to curl down. This could be a great short if the market is weak. I mean, you're talking about this thing going maybe all the way down to 285. How great would that be? We'll be looking to short this. We'll see if it bounces here. This is an area of interest, 337. So maybe we'll get cute and we'll short let's go 340 and see if we can't get something. Premiums are out of this world. We'll take a look and see. What do we got here? SPY. I like shorting. I don't like playing SPY to the upside. It's too slow. Excuse me. I like playing it to the downside. It's quick profits and quick expirations. And we made some good money on this. Excuse me. Made some good money on it, but we didn't take the trade when it was down here. That's my fault. They were all green. I think it was 60, 40, 30% on our layered 363, 362, 361s. On our puts, and it was there, and I didn't take the trade. I'm really disappointed in myself because the rally came and smoked us, but at the same time, disappointed. I'm going to do better than that next time. But look to short this thing. I'm looking at the 21-day 362. Especially if we get to 368, I'm very interested in the 362 puts. Might be able to buy the Wednesday expiration tomorrow for. It could be 50 cents, 60 cents. So we'll see how the VIX is acting, but we might SPX or Spider puts coming in. I like shorting indexes. Atlassian, just something I put on there. It really is amazing. It's getting added to the NASDAQ 100. I don't like the spreads, but something to look at moving forward. Tesla. Kind of no man's land. I'm probably going to cash in. We were the first to alert such a big buy, such a big go. I'm probably going to cash in the 600 calls and the 700 calls. I think it was the 800 calls for this week. Bought them back at 448. The 600s are in the money. They're very deep. Well, not deep anymore, but they were. They're in the money, and I believe they are 900%. I believe the 700s are 600%. And then going off the top of my head, anybody can correct me if that's the case. And then the 800s are 300%. I don't think we get 800 this week. So I'll probably close out most of them. I'll let some ride, see what happens. But Tesla, to me, I think most of the buying is they still got a lot of shares to buy. They got a lot of shares to buy, and there's not enough supply. So you think this thing goes up, but we'll see if they just accumulate. They try to play games with you with quad witching and all that stuff. We'll see how it goes. I'm not going to be heavy in Tesla this week, personally. I'm not going to alert a lot of Tesla unless it breaks the 8-day here under, which is what 8 days 603. It's really got to break 600 for me to, get any type of bearish on it. But there's a big gap down here, a big gap between the 21-day and the 8-day. So if it does break 600 and it stays underneath, we will short it. I know this is no turning back. Don't be silly and short. That was over here. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, we might just cute short it. And if the market's weak, we'll play it. We'll see how it goes. But again, for me to play to the upside right now, it's got to get up. It's got to get 648, 640. We'll call halfway through these, 638. It's got to get somewhere. Show me some strength. UVXY, my favorite hedge in the whole world. We are long volatility at Alpha Traders, and it shows. These calls that we have, we bought them literally at the bottom. I think we bought them down here somewhere. They started peaking. We got about 20% on them, cashed about 10% in, just get some cash flow, because if it does pop tomorrow or the VIX drops back down to, back to, we'll call it 1135, maybe even under that, it's we're going to reload again. So I love UVXY. I love them. It's the best volatility next to the actual VIX, and they're a lot cheaper. So it's a really good play if you're long volatility. We're in the January 15, 12 calls. As you saw, this got up to a high of 1238. They were not in the money, but if you count the premium, they are in the money if you don't count them. So love UVXY. You will thank me when volatility comes and you have a 300%. You put a part of your portfolio into it, and it is one of the best things ever. Visa, same thing as MasterCard. I think this gap gets filled. I think you can buy the 200 puts, and I think you're good. Win, best of the hotels. If it doesn't gain any traction, this thing's going down. You should probably do the 21-day easily at the 102. If it breaks the 8-day here, 109.52-ish, 109.50, we'll call it. We'll short the heck out of that thing. XPEV, it's here with NIO, Tesla, all the EVs. It's got to gain some traction. You got to get it back. It broke all these. It's got to reclaim the 8-day. It's got to get back to the VWAP. Like it's got a lot of work out of it. I would stay away. Anything else? Zoom. Oh, Zoom. We are currently long the 485 December 31st Zoom. Bottom somewhere in here at, I think it was like 403. I think we bought them first here, and then we layered and we added some more here, and then almost bought some more down here. But I think this thing's bottomed. I mean, this thing looks like, just from a chart perspective, this thing looks like it is higher lows off the bottom of this. So I don't see an issue. I think this thing runs. It's got these gaps to fill too. We went 485 because it's the top of this gap. 485 is the top of this gap. I could definitely see this thing really bust through in the next coming weeks. May not be this week. Might just start moving up, may get to 410. But we'll play Zoom if the premiums are okay and it's showing some that has some strength and volume to it. Like these are good candles. These are good basing. These are good basing volume candles. That's why I like Trendspider so much. Shows me the volume. Showed me first half of the day, second half of the day, first half of the day. I mean, it's a very even candle. Two basing candles after another sell-off. So I'd really like to see if it does get down here again. I'll probably add the 450s for the 31st as well. Just give it a little more time. But I think this thing's a runner. I think that's it for all the. Yep. So that's kind of what we got. I hope you guys got some ideas of where our levels are, what we're doing. Appreciate everybody for staying in. And I mean, 74 minutes later, and 40 minutes with audio and 40 minutes without. So appreciate everybody. AlphaTraders.com. Twitter's out at Alpha Traders Inc. We are ready to go. Let's make this happen this week. Good luck to everybody. Anybody that wants to join, free 3-day trials. I can never say it. You can DM us or, submit your email on the website, and we'll see you guys out there. Thanks again.